Welcome to the Lauren Blackwell channel. So there's a poet from Mississippi called Talisha Jones. She's quite known and she is currently making waves in the music industry using her AI generated image that she calls Xania Monet, or it might be Xania, but I'm leaning more towards Xania. So anyway, Xania Monet is an artist, an AI artist basically. Talisha Jones uses AI to not only generate the image that is Xania Monet, but also the music that Xenia puts out. Now this is very controversial because the sound that Xenia has is very familiar. When you listen to Xenia, a lot of people have said that they are able to relate to her. They're able to relate to her message, her music, and most importantly, her voice. And I believe that this is because the voice that Xenia has is a combination of very familiar artists' voices, and you can sort of hear a lot of well-known artists in Xenia's voice. But not just her voice, but her message is also very relatable, and a lot of people like her music. So recently, Xenia signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Timberland. He's very excited about it. That has struck a sensitive chord with a lot of artists, and they are now responding on social media and reacting to the fact that an AI artist is able to sign such a deal. Now there are a couple of artists that are not happy about it. Khelani has spoken up about it, which I'm going to play very soon. A lot of people have spoken out about it. This is what Khelani had to say about it.
There is an AI R&B artist who just signed a multi-million-dollar deal and has a top 5 R&B album, and the person is doing none of the work. I think you guys think that AI can just be the cover for something, which some people can use. They can make an AI cover. AI can also make the entire song. It can sing the entire song. It can make the entire beat. You can have a song that's one type of song and say, AI, make this into a country song, and it'll literally rewrite, re-sing in a country voice and redo the entire thing. And they don't have to credit anyone. This is so beyond out of our control, and nothing and no one on earth will ever be able to justify AI to me.
This is definitely something worth worrying about, especially as an artist that these people that are speaking out, because this is going to take the competition to a whole new level. If competition is tough now when they are competing against other humans, how in the world are they going to compete with AI? So they're not happy about it, and it is understandable because the work that these artists are able to create within, I want to say, a couple of hours, 3 hours, AI can generate it within a few minutes. And so not only is that time crunch now a factor, it will probably make things a lot more difficult when when these music execs are able to utilize AI at a much lower cost in comparison to having to work with artists and having to deal with the human elements that come with artists, which tends to be difficult, more complex, and often unpleasant. When you have AI as an artist, you do not have to worry about that artist doing something controversial like, having a human being in the trunk of their Tesla and then risking all of the funds that you have invested in them. They also will not do or say things that you do not prompt it to say, which can jeopardize your investment. So there are definitely benefits to using AI that serves the needs of not only execs but, quite frankly, listeners as well. But when you look at it from the artist's perspective, what are these artists supposed to do? These AI artists that are now popping up will not be going anywhere anytime soon. It would be nice if they're regulated so that artists do not suffer so much from their development. But what are the odds of that happening? I mean, AI is taking over people's jobs. Robots are already taking over people's jobs. So it's going to be no different in the music industry. And these artists are going to be even more affected as time goes on. My advice to them will be for them to figure out a way to become part of the scene, the new scene that is developing, and not be left behind. In other words, instead of complaining about the direction that AI is taking, they need to figure out a way to become part of it so that they do not miss out completely. A lot of people were not happy actually when Khelani made the statements that they made, because their thinking is that, how is it that these artists did not speak up when other people were being affected by AI and they were losing their jobs left and right, and these artists said nothing until now that they're being personally affected. Now they're trying to speak out and make a change and get people on their side, and people are being rather unempathetic towards the artists. And it is very difficult to disagree with that, because when we heard that a lot of people were starting to lose their jobs, Google fired tons of people, Meta, all of these big companies were firing a lot of people and started to utilize AI and robots to do a lot of manual jobs and a lot of white collar jobs. What did you think was going to happen? Everybody knew, at the back of our minds, we all knew that eventually most industries, if not all, will be severely affected by the use of AI. So when something starts at the grassroots and very few people are being affected and nobody is speaking out, especially the people with a platform, the people that have the ability to make a change, especially when they come together, if they do not speak out because they're not affected personally, that is how these things grow to the point where when everyone else becomes affected, nobody is going to be able to stop the change from happening. At this point, it's a runaway train. Nothing is going to stop AI from taking a lot of people's jobs. And these artists are starting to see now that they are going to be affected by the same things that regular people that are non-celebrities are affected by. It is very difficult to feel empathy towards artists because at the end of the day, it's not the end for them. They're still able to take advantage of the use of AI. They can figure something out. They can figure out a way to become part of the company. They can create their own AI avatars. They can trademark their face, or I don't know. I don't know what the rules are around this, but they can still fight to own their own image, but not just for themselves. They can fight so that everyone has a sort of natural trademark to their own image and their own voice, so that no random person can just take an image of another artist and one artist from here, another artist from there, combine it and create something that no one can touch. It's like, they shouldn't be able to do that. They can fight for that, but they wait until they are personally, very personally affected before they begin to try to do something about it. And that is why a lot of people do not have empathy for them. But it is certainly worrying, especially for the artists out there that are not particularly talented and they're only being used to bait a different artist or to get another artist out of the scene. This has happened many times. It's been happening for years, for decades even. So all of those artists that were used as a plant against other artists or against a particular genre, perhaps to remove an entire race from the top of a particular genre and replace the race with the race of people that they're more familiar, that they prefer. all of those artists are going to be pushed to the back burner when AI becomes a thing that is used more frequently to do this sort of a thing. So not only are the talented artists' jobs at risk, but the untalented ones are actually more at risk because they'll be the first ones to be rendered useless when this becomes mainstream. One other reason why speaking out against AI, using AI in music, is really not going to work as effectively as Khelani and these other artists want is because currently most people on social media use AI. They use AI for a lot of things. Filters are done using AI. Editing is done using AI. Even the music that is edited by their producers is done by AI. Even the equipment that is built to help the artist sound the way they sound uses AI. So, I mean, from advertising, marketing, all of these things that the artists currently use AI for. So, where do you draw the line? Where do you say, well, let's not use AI for music, but let's use it for this aspect of my work so that I can be more competitive in comparison to all these other artists? Because at the end of the day, when you use a whole bunch of filters for your voice, your face, your image, your body, all of these things, you are making yourself more competitive in comparison to the other artists that are out there so that you can push yourself up to the top, right? Well, that's what these AI artists are doing as well. They have increased the competition level to a 10, and there's nothing that's going to stop competition from getting even worse than it currently is. So, quite frankly, I really don't see a way around this except for the whole trademark thing to be more tightly regulated, and for artists to figure out a way to benefit from using AI. And the earlier they figure out how to do this, the better it will be for them. But sitting around and complaining and trying to get people on your side because you do not like that AI is faster and better than a lot of the artists out here is not going to work. This has never stopped progress. Like, complaining about who is suffering from progress will not stop the progress from happening. Unfortunately, it's sad that a lot of artists will be so negatively affected and a lot of people will lose their jobs, regular people. But I mean, think about the the writers that can be put out of work. And, it's like designers, fashion designers, all of these creative people that are going to lose their jobs. So it's not just about music. It's not just about the artists. There's so much more to this that everyone will be affected by, and there is no stopping it. It is a runaway train. Nobody can stop it. The best thing that I think everyone can do is to put themselves in a position where they are able to benefit from the use of AI in entertainment and whatever industry that they're in. That's all I have to say on this. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next one. Bye, guys.